We're looking into Arsenal's pursuit of a very, very exciting winger to add to their attacking front. A done deal, imminent for the treble winners, Manchester City, as well as one of the best up-and-coming centre-backs in world football, potentially on his way to the Etihad as well. We're also going to take a look at Manchester United's share prices. They rose. This was put down to a fake story yesterday about a takeover, but not only have they stabilized, they have grown. What does this mean? Is the takeover imminent? Plus, we're going to look more at the Mbappe news as the Times and other outlets push back against rumors that he's not interested in a move to the Premier League. Hit the like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace. Make sure you're following us on TikTok as well. Lots of exclusive content for you every day over there. To get across to that now, link in the description or scan that QR code on the screen. But as ever, it's a done deal show. Let's go. Samuel Chukwueze, a player actually linked to Arsenal Football Club in 2016, currently at Villarreal. AC Milan are after him. A number of other suitors are out there. But Arsenal want to sign him. And the headline here today, coming out of Spain, is Arsenal want to sign amazing 24-year-old this summer who idolized Santi Cazorla. It's an Arsenal connection there for you to get the juices flowing. He says Arsenal want to sign the Villarreal winger Samuel Chukwueze this summer and will face competition from a number of clubs. Reports from Italy claim that AC Milan are in this race, but Arsenal want to enter it. A player that has long been on the lists at the Emirates Stadium to bolster their attacking line. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. A lot of YouTubers do. They pretend to have ball knowledge about everybody. They read a scouting report and try and palm it off as their own. Don't follow charlatans. Honestly, beware of false prophets, as people once said. Arsenal are amongst the teams that want to sign this guy. How good, though? How good do you think he is? How much do you think he would improve Arsenal's front line? How do Gooners feel about it? I've heard a lot of talk this summer so far about Arsenal need to sign players to improve the first team, not backup players. I understand that logic, but it isn't always possible. How many wingers in the world that are attainable, that are gettable, are better than Martinelli and Saka that you can sign? So don't name, and I want you to do this in the comment section. Don't name players that you know are better that you can't sign. Don't say Mbappe. Don't say Jack Grealish because you can't get them. What Rashford? You can't get them. So who's attainable that's better? That's the question for you. But Arsenal linked to him. It's a story to keep your eye on, to keep your eyes on in the coming weeks. The article goes on to say Arsenal were listed amongst the teams interested in signing him, along with Liverpool, Real Madrid, and AC Milan. So he's being followed by a large amount of teams, a big amount of clubs, big teams looking to bolster their attacking lines, teams looking to improve their squad going into the next season. And if Real Madrid, AC Milan, and Liverpool deem him to be good enough, what do Arsenal fans think? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, with City, Kovacic, this story here, and I want to make sure I read this correctly. I want to get this right. Let me just go to the story because I liked it a moment ago and now it's disappeared off my screen. It says here that Mateo Kovacic is close to joining Manchester City. There is a verbal agreement on personal terms. The clubs are close to agreeing a fee and compensation for the player, and the deal is expected to happen imminently. Are the reports today coming out across from Europe that it is a done deal? This guy is going to be a Man City player unless something drastically goes wrong. The big question is, who is Kovacic replacing in that Manchester City team? That's my question. Is Gundogan going to leave? We know Bernardo Silva might go, but they don't play the same position. So for me, Bernardo Silva in this conversation is a red herring. 110% a red herring because they don't play in the same position. Is he the Gundogan replacement? If Gundogan says he's staying, will City pull out of this deal? But it is on the edge of being done. If they complete it, my gut feeling is that Gundogan is going to leave because I just don't see why you sign Kovacic if Gundogan is staying. I don't know where he plays. I don't know when he plays. People are saying Calvin Phillips. They're not even the same profile of football player, in my opinion. Like Calvin Phillips could leave, Kovacic could come in. I don't personally see that myself. What do you all think and feel? In conjunction with that story, what's also being reported is that everything is now in place for the situation with Mateo Kovacic. And once that completes, Man City will also start to push for Gvardiol. It says here that everything is now in place in relation to contracts between City and Gvardiol. Gvardiol is a key target of Man City at their left centre back position. Now it's for Leipzig and City to agree on a fee and add-ons, but that is described as being almost simplistic by this report that we have read here today across media. That it feels like it could almost be a formality. City will pay pretty much what RB Leipzig want in the right structure and get that deal over the line as well. And you feel like adding Gvardiol and adding Kovacic to their team, like the treble winners just got even better. They've just gone and got even better. Yes, losing Gundogan's going to be is going to be painful, but they just don't stand still. This club, they just don't stand still. This team, they want to keep winning. They want to stay at the top, and you can do nothing but praise that. You just can't. Now across the street, the red half of Manchester, I want to talk about the share prices because every media outlet yesterday in the morning, British media outlet and journalists said that the news that Qatar had been successful was aggregated news. There was nothing to it. A lot of the spike in the share price was created by a fake news story created from an account in Cardiff. And it kind of deflated Man United fans. Ah, damn. None of it's true. However, as you can see with the graphic on the screen, the spike happened as soon as the market opened on Tuesday. But not only did for the majority of the day did the market stabilize at the new price, just, between that sort of 20 and $22 per share, but it actually grew in the second half of the day's trading. Now, there's many reasons for this. There's talk that, and now industry experts now believe that the Qataris have more chance than Sir Jim. Sir Jim is going to try and buy the club predominantly through borrowing money. But it's a very difficult market to borrow money in at the moment. And industry experts are not even sure that it is doable. There is problems in terms of the way in which Sir Jim wants to buy the shares off the Glazers, in terms of it being overly complicated. And there may be times where the Glazers don't get the money they want. There could be issues. So there's a feeling amongst industry experts that the Glazers might favor the Qataris because it's essentially a cash sow. They have the money transferred into their bank accounts, done, no messing. So there could be that element. And that has been reported by a couple of outlets, but not by many. But the reason I say it's significant that the share price stabilized and grew. Now, I'm not claiming to be a stock market expert. No, not in any way, shape, or form. Yes, I have 15 years experience in banking, and I spent some time in the private bank, but I'm not an expert when it comes to the stock market. However, if people go back to the original, there has to be something more to the stabilization and the growth that's more tangible that isn't being reported on by the mainstream media. And I say that because let's just say all these traders around the world who are experts started buying Man United shares based on this fake news story, which was which was given as the reason for the spike in the early morning trading. They would have been dumping those shares quickly if the only reason to buy them was based on a fake story and nothing tangible behind the scenes. So it does feel to me as though, this situation is coming to a close, or there's a feeling it's coming towards a close, and two, that the Qataris may just pull this off and get it done. Because the last time it was announced that Sir Jim may be the preferred bidder, there was a decrease in share price. There seems to be much more confidence in the market a Qatari takeover being profitable than Sir Jim's. Now, of course, the Qataris are taking it off the stock market. So you don't buy it now. If you don't buy it now, forever hold your peace. You buy it now, the share price rises, the Qataris buy it. These people buying shares are going to make a buck or two or three or 10,000 or more, you know? So it's a very interesting situation. I don't think this is solely related to just some fake news story. I do believe there's more in it. There are, as I've mentioned already, stories circulating that. I want to read you the passage, actually. I've just been searching for it while we've been talking in relation to the situation with the shares and what a few different organizations thought and felt in relation to it. And I just want to make sure I want to read it properly to you. Bear with me here just while I find it. I might not be able to find it again now. Bear with, because it's gone. If I can't find it, I'll have to speak to you about it on another show. But I started it the other day because it was a very interesting piece. But essentially, it alludes to buying the club with debt is going to be difficult, and I can't find it right now. So I do apologize for not being able to find that. But there we go. And we have one last little search for it here. I like to save these stories, and then but sometimes they disappear. But no, can't find it. There we go. We'll talk about that later. But look, I think there's something real substantial in this. And let's take a look. Now, I want to speak about Mbappe as well, because last night we saw not interested in joining Manchester United. Fabrizio has said the ownership change. Let's take a look at it. But the Times newspaper in the UK are saying that Chelsea are 110% interested in potentially buying him. On top of that, there's a report that's come out today from L'Equipe, a very credible outlet in France, that says that as a youth player, Kylian Mbappe had been subject to interest from Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal, and has remained in contact with several of those teams since. Whilst Real Madrid remains the obvious destination for Mbappe, a move to the Premier League is the only option that appears credible. So there are multiple stories circulating here around Mbappe. And as we always do on the Terrace, it isn't about being biased and just looking at one side of the story. There's multiple here. Some outlets say there's no chance of Man United. Fabrizio has said there is if there's new ownerships. Now L'Equipe are essentially saying there's far more chance of it being a Premier League side than being Real Madrid. Real Madrid, who just put loads of money into Jude Bellingham, may not have the funds available this summer to bring him in. PSG have said they're not letting him leave for free, and he will be sold this summer. As I stated yesterday, English clubs have to inquire for him, all of them, City included, because he's better, as good as Jack Grealish is. This guy's better on the left. This guy's better on the right than they're going to get rid of Mahrez, but he's better on the right than Mahrez. You could argue he's not better than Haaland through the middle. Everyone's got a different taste. But every top team in England should be trying to get Kylian Mbappe. This news should be encouraging to them. They should be making inquiries. They should be offering contracts and doing everything in their power to sign him. This is once in a lifetime opportunity that they've been presented with, and they have to move heaven and earth to get it done, as far as I'm concerned. Even if they end up as failures, so what? It's Kylian Mbappe. You try and get it done. Listen, people, thank you very, very much as ever for tuning in. As I've said a few times already, please do us a favor and go and make sure you are subscribing to our TikTok channel. And by the way, I've just found the stuff here that I was looking for. It says here, so Jim Radcliffe's offer would use loans and bonds to draw some of the biggest banks in the world for his purchase, and the debt market is a nightmare, in the words of one source. This is far from a straightforward process. So it basically stating, this comes from a journalist called Mark Douglas, who has spoke to a lot of people in the banking sector, who have said the way Sir Jim is trying to raise his money is really difficult in the current financial market. So this could be a reason that the Glazers are now starting to favor the Qataris. If that news is coming through the banking markets, is coming through the world of banking, that will seep into the stock market, because Chinese whispers and all that jazz. The news gets in, people start to invest money, and you see a spike. That could all just be, sometimes correlation and causation are not the same thing, but there has to be a real tangible reason, as I said earlier, why not only did it spike, but it stabilized and grew further. We'll have another look today and see where it is close of business. But there we go. Listen, people, do us a big favor and hit the like button before you go. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very